Welcome back. It is 37 minutes past the hour. We're just about to delve into our dawn debate. And this morning, we're focusing on the prices of Unga, which is set to come down. A 2 kg packet of Unga is set to retail at 90 shillings. 1 kg set to retail at 47 shillings. Remember, we have asked you our question of the day. Do you think the prices of maize going down will lower the cost of living? Do interact with us. We'll be reading out your views and comments. Government spokesman Eric Kiraithe is already in studio for this conversation. But remember, the government says that the maize consignment did not come directly from Mexico. Transport PS Paul Maringa told journalists on Monday that the ship carrying the maize in fact came from South Africa and took 5 days to get to Mombasa. That report by Francis Sontoma now sets the pace for the dawn debate.
The process of offloading the first consignment of the imported duty-free maize got underway, even in the middle of the political storm generated by the rapid importation of this particular consignment. Transport PS Professor Paul Maringa making the trip to monitor what the government says will ease the pain of Kenyans at the dinner table. But the government official had many questions to answer.
I want to read some basic statistics for you. For example, the maize has been imported originally from Mexico, rerouted through South Africa, Durban port. And since we ordered the maize, it was brought in here within 5 days. It's fresh maize, well stored. And gentlemen and ladies, this is white maize, not yellow maize, white maize, for the avoidance of doubt.
Only last week, Agriculture CS was in Mombasa to receive the consignment. But now the government says it was never involved in the importation.
I'm happy to say the awaited maize which we have imported, which is supposed to stabilize our prices in the country, the first ship is what we are seeing today.
This maize was imported competitively through private importers. All right, we have Kitui Flour Mills that has imported 10,000 tons. Pembe Flour Mills has imported 10,000 tons. And High Dairy P Limited, 9,900 tons. The reason why I give this specific information, all right, is to dissuade any Kenyan from the speculation that government is doing business within itself.
Government spokesman Eric Kiraithe shed more light on this controversy that has been taking part in the country. Many thanks for joining us on the show, Mr. Kiraithe.
Thank you.
So let's delve
Welcome,
into this. I'm sure you've been at the heart of the conversation going around the country, especially on social media. But let's begin with what Kenyans expecting to see today. Prices of maize coming down to 90 shillings for 2 kgs, 47 shillings for 1 kg. How was this possible?
Well, thank you very much, Michelle, for that question. I would even want to make a correction that this is not a controversy. This morning, my mission is to make a distinction between politics and governance. Mm-hmm. Politics is where the ship passed, who imported the maize. Governance is that there is a drought in this country. Mm-hmm. And there has been a drought in the region, the Horn of Africa, the Southern Africa, for the last 2 years. Governance is that due to this drought, there is a scarcity in the market. There is little supply of maize, milk, and other agricultural products. Mm-hmm. That due to this, a number of Kenyans have been finding it very, very hard to put food on the table. That the government, working with those stakeholders, has tirelessly worked. And I think, in spite of all the other hardships, the price of Unga from today onwards will be the lowest Kenyans have paid in the last 6-7 years.
And therein lies the question, Mr. Kiraithe, when it comes to governance, because that is what you're talking about, governance. Yes. The question Kenyans are asking, mostly surrounds the shortage that befell Kenyans. Many asking, was this a man-made shortage? Or was it really a result of the drought?
Rain is not man-made. Let's get our facts right. I don't want to be complicated. I don't want to be sophisticated. I don't want to be a philosopher. Today, Michelle, I want to talk a language every Kenyan who is 3 years and above will understand without any complications, without any dancing, without any incitement, without any interpretation. Rain is not man-made. In this country, for many years, we decided to rely on rain-driven, rain-fed agriculture. And various governments made plans to move from rain-fed to agriculture to a properly managed irrigation-driven agriculture, where we are managing the water God is giving us through rains. And as early as 2000, there was a national water master plan which clearly, with involvement of scientists, with involvement of land experts and everything else, environmental experts, international donors, on how to harness the water resources in Kenya so that we have a predictable and constant supply of food. Mm-hmm. Nobody started implementing this in earnest until 2013, mm-hmm. when the current administration has actually commissioned over 180 dams around the country.
What are the benefits of that implementation felt during this drought period?
The
Mr.
benefit
Kiraithe?
is this. Like in maize, when you commission the construction of a dam, the work must start, the work must proceed, the work must be concluded, and then rain must come to fill that dam up so that you start pumping that water into the farms. Mm-hmm. Now, all these dams are in various stages of implementation. You know that if you want...
Since 2013?
If you want, yes, and it might take longer. Mm-hmm. I hope I won't surprise you. Especially when you build dam, it is complete, and then there is no rain for 2 years. I think that is not difficult to understand, mm-hmm. for any other Kenyan. So the difference between politics and governance is that the government has taken concrete measures. If you go to Mwache Creek, if you go to Dhwake, if you go to all those areas you have had, if you go to the northern water collector tunnel project, you'll see something is being done. Mm-hmm. In 2005, 2006, when the previous governments said that there will be a bypass, Kenyans were very skeptical. Right. So what we should be talking about is that there is a work in progress which is visible, scientifically, and ordinarily verifiable. Mm-hmm. And therefore, going back to the price of maize, the government has said, I have been promising, and I'm happy that it has come to be, that the government, the technocrats, they are working to see what we can do for the ordinary mwananchi.
And we're seeing that today with the prices of Unga coming down. But where do we draw the line? Because you keep mentioning politics and governance. Where do we draw that line? I'm sure you've taken a look at the dailies this morning. On the front page of The Nation is an expose revealing the importers of this maize allegedly from Mexico. And you say it's governance. But looking at that report, a lot of companies that are said to be affiliated to politicians, companies that have previously been involved in maize scandals with the cereals board in the country. And this is why Kenyans are asking, was this a crisis that top elites were looking to cash in on, exploiting the common mananchi?
Well, a lot of politicians in this country, maybe 90%, you'll bear me out. That is another ordinary fact, are politicians. Mm-hmm. Because unfortunately, we have converted politics to be a business. Compare your salary, you come here every morning, and that of an MP, and you just look at it plain and simple and see what I mean. What I would want to tell you is that politics is declaring everything as scandal. Governance is ensuring that the price of maize meal, a kg, is coming down from 160 to 90. Mm-hmm. You know, if I didn't have anything to say about your English language, I would start saying that you are too tall. It doesn't matter that height is conventionally taken as a sign of beauty. Those who are saying we as civil servants are doing nothing, those who are saying that we don't have the proper political direction to deliver services to these Kenyans, I'm sure today they have nothing to say. They can only say it is a scandal. But I think if the price of Unga moving down from 160 to 90 shillings is a scandal, then I think that is a good scandal.
All right, so let's talk about this good scandal. Prices are coming down, but how sustainable is this? We understand there was that 6.5 billion shilling subsidy program that was put in place, but how sustainable is this, especially for the retailers now who'd already bought stock in, just a lot of stock previously when the prices were a lot higher? They will still need to make their profits while selling to the common man.
No, the mathematics of retail don't go like that. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you go on the basis of you have a stock of 2 tons or 10 tons of maize meal. Mm-hmm. You bought it at this price. You will be able to replace the same stock at this price. And let me tell you one thing. When there is a drought, let us not suggest that there are some citizens who are not supposed to take part. Remember that they have been increasing prices because of projecting how much they will take to replace that stock. And every other week, they have been gaining. This is the moment for them to share the profit with the rest of us in Kenya. And therefore, the sustainability, the long-term sustainability aspect is that we will not sustain any business at the cost of a starving Kenyan. That is what good governance is about. Mm-hmm.
Now, that being said, the prices of maize are coming down. Will this have a trickle-down effect to other basic commodities? Milk is especially high, 80 kgs. And when it comes to milk, it's another controversy, also raising a lot of questions, because milk farmers say they're still receiving 30 shillings per litre for the milk they sell. But they're still the milk is still being sold at 80 shillings in the supermarkets. Why is that? A lot of questions still being asked. Is this going to change?
What has happened with milk is that we have imported, the government has also created importation of powdered milk, opened a window for duty-free. But they are farmers. They certainly... I do some little milk farming. Mm-hmm. From the average price of 20 to the price of 33 now, depending on where you are in the country.
Right.
Even the people who process milk have to transport it and all that. Certainly, it is quite an improvement from the minute the milk comes from the cow to the minute it reaches the shelf. But the government will continue reviewing its measures to see where we can live. But let me tell you something for milk.
Even before, the transportation was still being factored in and it was still paying 50 shillings per packet of milk.
What you should look at is the gap between the cost of processing it and, how do I put it, the incremental cost, the margins. What were the margins looking like? And what is the ripple effect? Well, now, those are the managerial accounting, which is a difficult. But I want to tell you something about milk. The current lane, although it will not meet the levels it's required to do, has alleviated the scarcity of milk because the milk production has gone up in several parts of the country. And therefore, the government will continue monitoring the trend, and if need be, more measures will be put in place.
Mm-hmm. All right, yes. And I think there is already need, but before we get to that, let's listen in to a soundbite by Deputy President William Ruto on the maize importation row.
Hizi tumeagiza vyakula. Saa ile chakula imefika, wanaanza kutuambia mbona hii chakula imefika haraka. Wale walikuwa wanataka chakula hii chelewe ndio wapate kazi gani?
Now, this was another point of controversy, Mr. Kiraithe, and maybe you could clear this up for us. As you say, this is not a scandal. It is not a controversy. But Kenyans are still asking questions as to why initially the reports of the maize is coming from Mexico. And then after questions started being raised, the narrative changed, that the maize now came from South Africa. Please clear this up for us.
No, and Michelle, again, this is the difference between good governance and the bad politics. Mm-hmm. Let me even qualify the politics, because all politics is not like that. The fact is that when the government decided, out of an analysis, whatever, that now we need to open the window for importation so that Kenyans access this commodity at a lower price, it was able to reach here and on time. And it will be able to hit the market shelf and on time.
The question was from where?
The issue of the maize came from Mexico. But the issue of where did the ship dock, who was in charge of the ship, where did it fuel, did it pass South Africa, did it pass, Durban, did it pass Mauritius, when did it enter the port of Kenya, ilipita Zanzibar lini? Those are bad politics. The important thing and the questions the government will be monitoring very closely is that as at the point it was admitted into this country, this maize was fit for human consumption.
So does that mean that Kenyans do not have a right to question the credibility and transparency of government processes?
Anything and everything. The most important thing, and what we shall be monitoring very closely, is that the average price at which we have negotiated with the mailers is reflecting the average price we expect from Mexico and the region. That is very important, so that that subsidy does not go to benefit an individual. The next most important thing is that now in the supply chain, nobody will repackage that Unga with something else. Kenyans might not know, but the government has been very concerned about importation of cheaper, genetically modified maize, GMOs. And the government has guarded that because its longer-term effect on the human has not been established scientifically with the right level of degree of certainty.
So
we don't want, and now, what we are asking the retailers, everybody in the food chain, the people who have been eager to make this a scandal will not go to sleep tight. They have been celebrating. I saw people talking about Unga revolution. They have been celebrating that there has been drought. They were taking that as an issue. Now it is solved. The most important thing is for Kenyans, people involved in that food chain, to be vigilant so that we don't hijack this. It is a first in governance, let me tell you.
All right.
It is a first.
And for you to address...
other countries are calling in, they are sending their technocrats to ask, how did you do it? I mean, we have experts in this country, and as a government, we are performing.
All right. I'd like us to delve into the Galana Kulalu project.
I expect some congratulations from you on behalf of the other government civil servants. By the way, politicians give political direction. I have repeated once and once again, the best thing you can do for professional civil servants like myself and all the others in Treasury in the Ministry of Agriculture is give them an opportunity to serve this country. And the result will be very much like from 160 to 90 shillings.
All right. Yeah. Let's focus more on the sustainability of this. And of course, the Galana Kulalu project was one that was meant to help bring food security in the country. It has not done as well as was expected. Many say these were teething problems. But talk to us about the progress of this project and whether this is likely to fulfill the mandate it was established for.
Well, the food production, especially when you are converting Preston land, a savanna grassland, that is what Galana Kulalu is. When you are converting 1 million acres of land to produce maize or to produce any crop for that matter, I hope you have studied or taken time off to study the history of how Lord Delamere introduced grade cattle in Kenya, or merino sheep. They came here as over 30 farmers to do that. All of them failed and they gave up. But Delamere and Lord Egerton, we call Egerton University, and most of Kenyans might not know where it came from. They persisted. A lot of whites came and left. Remember, there was no road. People are saying, SGR, what? By 1967, from Nairobi to Mombasa, it was a Maram Road with all the problems. People worked on that project over the years. Until today, you have Fresian cattle in Meru, you have Fresian cattle in the White Islands, you can keep Fresian cattle in Homa Bay, in Garissa, in Moyale, and so on. It is out of very many years of research. When we explain phenomena to politicians as the technocrats, we create a lot of excitement. Food production is not an accurate science. Even the people who took a rocket to the moon did not do it in a day.
Well, you know, there seems to be gaps in terms of our forward planning, even as you talk about this.
Listen to me. Forward planning must subordinate itself to scientific research. What we are having in Galana Kulalo is a work in progress. I have said it several times that I have a lot of hope in this project. It is one of those projects, whichever the challenge is, we must now drop, especially because it has already produced some maize. It would have been strange really to expect that you are going to have, there are a lot of dynamics involved, hydraulics, engineering. Remember, this water is being pumped, sources of power, the source of water itself. We should be congratulating this government for starting and actually encouraging this government, because if we don't go on with the Galana Kulalo, in spite of all the problems, remember there will be a lot of byproducts, animal feed, this agriculture, livestock husbandry of following cattle around. Think about Europe. Most of Northern Europe, from October to April, everybody knows you can't talk of militia. You can't talk of grazing. And they have surplus milk production, Finland, Netherlands, the year round.
All right.
It is not because they worked for 2 years and started complaining. We must support that project in terms of budgets, in terms of morale, because I can imagine the engineers who are camped out there in tents, who have been camping there for the last 3-4 years, the way they feel when everybody is out to condemn. Let's congratulate them. They have produced bags of maize, even if they are 2, and support them to ensure that these bags go to the millions. Otherwise,
all right. So
2020 will come, 2030 will come, and we shall continue complaining.
Great. So research is all that is needed for that Galana Kulalo project. And as we wind up, Kenyans want to know, what is the government doing about the other prices of basic commodities? And are they likely to come down anytime soon?
We are monitoring all these prices. What I can't sit here as I'm not a politician to promise anybody all the prices will come down tomorrow or the day after. We are monitoring, and what Kenyans should be very sure about is that you have a president whose heart is with the people of this country. He is not allowing any civil servant to rest, anybody earning from the Kenyan taxpayer. Luckily, even the cabinet secretaries are not pure politicians now. They must work to ensure that every Kenyan is fed, so that he is able to protect his country, so that he is able to be productive, and that is the only way we shall develop Kenya. Bad politics, notwithstanding, because politicians are not priests. They are not Sunday school
Good governance
teachers.
should be the core.
They have a mission, but that mission might not be necessarily the mission of the common mwananchi who has to live with this cost of living.
All right. Many thanks for joining us on Morning Express. This is our dawn debate. We've been speaking to Government Spokesman Eric Kiraithe on the cost of maize, which will, as of today, go down to 90 shillings per 2 kg packet and 47 shillings per 1 kg packet. That is our dawn debate. Many thanks for staying with us. We take a short break now on Morning Express, but when we come back, we'll be taking you through some of the top stories that are making headlines this hour. Remember, it is Wednesday, so we also have our newsroom conversation coming up shortly. To stay with us.